Yeah.
Great. Cool, okay. So, health learning, first of all. If you see me and Lee hobbling around, you'll realise that learning analytics is a serious danger. Right, beware. Yeah. So, what I want to do is just give you an update and set a bit of context to the work we've been doing with other suppliers. And you're going to see some of those at lunchtime first of all, and then just give you a very quick update on a new stream of work that we've put in. So if we go back to the architecture, we have now cunningly colour-coded it so you can see the bits that essentially are core part of the service. So these are bits that will always be provided by JISC, and then we've got the pink parts, or the red parts, however you want to look at them, which are the bits then that people can plug in and add extra services to. So for the pilots, JISC will be providing both the blue side and, as part of the things, will pay for an option in the purple side. But if you wish and think that some of the products that you're going to see at lunchtime are more appropriate, that gives you another option to plug in to the architecture and work direct with the vendors to do it. So that's the kind of context. What I'm going to do is just show you the slides that I ran through on the vendor event. So we had an event a month or so ago where we had about 30 different suppliers in the room to go through the process. I'm just going to quickly whiz through that. So our kind of take on it is that you might want to, as a third party, you might want to integrate your application either as a contributor, so you do something that can bring data into the architecture, so that will be the question mark red down the bottom, or you might be a reader, so that is pretty much all the rest of it, so you want to be able to read information from the Learning Records Warehouse and either do one of the things that has got a name on, or question mark, so you've got a new product that can make use of the learning analytics data. So basic scenarios then are that you might be able to work with the data models and recipes that are already there, so it fits in with what we've already got, or it needs new data sources and recipes. We can work with both of those. And the supplier might be already working with a university or have someone they want to work with, or they might be bringing a new product to the sector. So those are kind of the kind of, if I could do a three-dimensional grid, that would be what it would look like in terms of process. And we just kind of walked through what that would look like in a couple of those different scenarios. So the first one is an example. The data models and recipes are already there, so your product works fine with our student data and VLE stuff, but it's a new product coming to the market. So process then, supplier talks to us to describe it, just to make sure that it is learning analytics related. We'll provide a key contact and access to the University of JISC Sandpit. So this is our kind of fake university that we're adding more and more data to, so suppliers can essentially do a practice implementation and have got something to show. So then it's plod through the legal side, which always takes way longer than I'd ever think. Integrate, then we're going to have the concept of approval. We've not quite worked out the exact detail, but this is certainly optional, but we think that it will help both the suppliers, you and us, if we say, yeah, that's about right. Then customer comes along, wants to try it. They basically request that that application has access to their data. Then we have to go through a three-way legal agreement and off we go. Yep, so that's that kind of process. Opposite side, if it's new recipes, so somebody comes in and says, right, we want to integrate brain data. We have a great demo of a brain transmitter type thing into it for an experiment. We're working with the university on this as a research project. So it would be, right, describe, etc., etc. So the next bit then is, the way it differs is around step 5, so they would then step into our process to define the recipes. So what we'd actually do at that point is say, right, we are going to start working on brain data recipes. I don't think we will be doing that, by the way, but this is an example. Call out for anyone else who wants to work with that, and then we've got an open process on GitHub so that anyone who's interested they can work there, then move to trials and so on. So that's the kind of pathways that we've looked at and explained. Briefly, this is the process for contributing to the development. So it's all done on GitHub and Collaborate. So suppliers can act as a contributor, so they can just participate in the GitHub side where we define the requests. They can become a technical member, so we have 2 weekly meetings to discuss this. Happy to invite anyone else into those. You have to really be interested in discussing detail there, because they are very detailed, or steering. So longer face-to-face meetings that we're going to set up regularly to steer the overall direction of the architecture. So really pleased with the number of people that come back afterwards and said they want to work with us. So these are some of the people that we've had follow-up meetings with and started working on that. So that includes a lot of people that you'll see today, our existing suppliers, and a few other providers of data. So they're more on the data insight, things like RefB and Thales. So really pleased how that's going. You'll see some of the details. I want to talk about the timelines. That was one I left. I just want to go right back to the beginning though and just say that we've sneaked in an extra thing over there called Data Explorer. This was, I talked about this at Newport if you were there. So the idea behind this is that it's an extra bit that we saw the need for, targeted really at learning technologists and data analysts rather than tutors and that sort of thing. So it's a relatively technical tool that lets you go through a whole bunch of visualizations and just see the data as soon as you start submitting it. Cool. We're partnering with a design company called Torchbox, and it's going to be a fairly quick 6-week original sprint in the first instance to get the first demo, and it will allow you to do 2 things really. So one is just look at your data as it comes into the Learning Locker in a fairly straightforward way, and the second is do things like view the things that the student will see on their app, so for debugging and things like that. If they say, hey, what am I seeing, you'll be able to have a look and pretend you're that student and kind of get involved in that. So really this is how we kind of see it fitting together. So you've got Learning Records Warehouse at the bottom. LA Services is a bunch of services that sit on top that exposes APIs to make it easy to access the data. ETL is Extract, Transform and Load. So the data at that point can go into analytics labs, so it can feed into the sorts of processes that Paul and Lee talked about earlier. You can, if you want, pull the data into your own BI tools if you've got the expertise and want to explore it. But the straightforward way is to immediately get going is to go into the Data Explorer and just have a look at the data and just see some interesting things. So that's all the update I want to give. And are we vaguely to time? Who's timekeeper?
Yeah.
Vaguely, cool. So who's next? Oh, sorry, any questions I should say? Cool.